wagging his tail.
That's our buddy.
So cute. He's barking at his tail. I'm sorry. It has been scientifically proven that positive reinforcement gets you positive results and responses from your dog. Negative reinforcement will get you negative feedback and responses from your dog. So keeping that in mind, I will never do anything that causes your dog pain, fear, or anxiety. It is not necessary in training. If I do see any aversive training techniques going on with your dog, such as swatting them on the tongue, tapping them on the nose, yanking a lot on that leash, rough grabbing or screaming and yelling at the dog, I will ask it to stop. If it does not stop, I will ask you to leave class. Okay? If we give our dogs positive reinforcement, they are more likely to work for us each and every time because they associate with good things, not negative things. Okay? All right. This is just so I don't forget to mention anything. While you're in class, if your dog has an accident, it's not a big deal. We understand. It's expected. I have a cleanup station right over here with the paper towels and spray, and there are bags up above and a trash can next to it. Just kindly clean it up and please spray it so that another dog doesn't want to go over and mark on the same spot. And then just move on with your night, okay? If you know that you're going to miss a class, please let me know ahead of time if at all possible. It's okay.
That's his mama.
So if he's reacting to you being in sight, then I might need you to be out of sight so he doesn't react.
So sit down.
There's a chair right there if you want to bring it over. Sometimes if they can't see you, they can't react to you being there. Okay. If you know that you're going to miss a class, please let me know ahead of time if at all possible. If, for example, you're here this week and you know you won't make it next week, let me know. I will mark it off in my book so that I'm not waiting for everybody to show up and not starting class on time. Even if it's the same day as class, you know you won't be here. Even an hour before class, please call and let me know. If I'm not available, they are really good at getting my messages to me. I do makeup classes. The makeup classes will consist of about 15-20 minutes to just go over what we went over in class so that you're caught up for the next one. Okay? Do any of you know if your dogs have any allergies to food? Any food allergies going on? Any sensitive stomachs? Okay, good. Is it alright if I periodically reward your dog with some treats? Okay, I like to make sure because I do have dogs with sensitive stomachs and stuff going on with allergies, so I don't want to treat the wrong dog the wrong thing. Okay. If you're at all familiar with human psychology, there is a doctor named Dr. Pavlov, and he developed a method that works with dogs that teaches dogs that words mean food. So we are going to use, this is called the Pavlovian method. We are going to take that method and link it to a reward system. We are going to teach your dogs that one word exclusively tells your dog if they did something well, they did something right, we're going to reward you for doing it. The words that you can choose from is called a positive marker. Yes, yay, awesome, excellent, amazing, or bravo. And I'm going to have you choose one of these words today. What would you like for Sophie?
Bravo, yes, awesome, excellent.
Ace?
Yay. Yay.
It needs to be something that you normally do not use with your dog on a regular basis because it needs to be exclusive for the reward program only. Cooper?
We'll go with excellent.
Yes.
Rocco?
Yay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright. So the way the positive marker works, the way that we teach them what that word means, is we're going to associate the word with a treat. Okay? Now just because he's really excited, I'm going to use him for a demo. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And what word did you choose? Yay?
Yay.
Okay. All we're going to do is use his positive marker word and reward. Get him used to that word meaning reward. Yes. Yay. Yay. see the attention I'm getting. Yay. Yay. Okay? You do this a few times a day with your dog for the next few days, and very, very quickly they are going to understand. When they hear that positive marker, they are going to look at you saying, where's my treat? Okay? This is how we're teaching our dogs what their positive marker is and what it means. The positive marker gets a positive response for that reward. This is their motivator. Okay? So do this with your positive marker for the next few days, a few times a day. Don't ask them for anything. Just use that word reward. Word reward. Word reward. Okay? While we're talking about rewards, one of my favorite choices to use in class are the Bill Jack's chicken liver treats. The reason I like these so much is because they are soft and pliable. They have a consistency of Play-Doh. So we don't want to over-treat our dogs. We don't want to over-reward them. If you use soft treats like these, this little treat can reward your dog 8-10 times. And the reason is because your dogs do not care how big or small the treat is. They just know that it tastes good and they're anxious to get it. They're going to work for it. All you do is take a little pinch. That's all they need for their reward. You're still going to get the same results, the same reaction, because it still tastes good. Okay? The smaller the treat does not mean the smaller the workload they're going to give you. That's a motivator. So I know you've got these bigger treats here. Just break up small pieces. That's all they need. And they will continue working for you because it's motivation. All right? All right. So the positive marker that you chose, we need to make sure that we are using that positive marker as soon as your dog does what you've asked them to do. You use that positive marker and reward, and then you can praise. Praise words such as good boy, good girl, good job, good going. You know, scratches and loving. That praise is wonderful. But you must use that positive marker word first, and then you can praise all you want. We need the connection to be made between what you just did, got your reward, and that positive marker means that reward is coming. Okay? Praise after positive marker. All right? There is something that I would like you to stay away from. Something to be conscious about. It's something we are all guilty of. I still catch myself doing it after all of these years. Everybody does. It's called cue nagging. Cue nagging is when you ask your dog to do something. All of the commands and cues are the things that we're asking our dogs to do. When we're asking our dog to do something and they don't do it, we repeat it over and over and over again. Sit, 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 sit. When they finally sit down, you reward them. But what you actually just taught your dog, because they learn from repetition and pattern, is that they got rewarded the 5th time you said it. So in their minds, they do not have to sit down until you repeat it 5 times. They rationalize differently than humans do. This is the way they think. If they know that they got that treat after I said that word 5 times, they're going to wait for the 5th time to get the next treat. Okay? So what we're going to do instead is we're going to ask for an action. If they don't respond, we're going to pause. Pause 8 to 10 seconds. If in that 8 to 10 seconds the dog figures out what they're supposed to do and they do it, yes, reward. Okay? If they don't, after that pause of 8 to 10 seconds, then you can repeat it one more time. Sit. If they don't respond, you're going to let their brain do a little reset. You're going to step away, kind of let them refocus themselves, come back and ask for it again. Generally, that works the 2nd time around. If you pause at the time you ask for something, you give your dogs an opportunity to let their brains work, let their wheels turn. Sometimes they need that little time, that little space of time to figure out what she just asked for and what I need to do to accomplish that trick, and then they'll do it. So allow your dog's brains to work. Okay? They need that brain work. Any questions so far? Okay. So does anybody's dog know the sit command?
Say it again. I can't
Does
hear you.
anybody's dog know the sit command?
He's supposed to, but not today.
Okay.
He's supposed to. He works most of the time.
Okay. We are going to teach our dogs. We're going to teach you and your dogs. We're going to put a barrier, and all this does is help your dog to relax so that they're not focused on everything else going on around them that's causing them to get overexcited. This is not a punishment. It's just a way to help them focus a little better without stress.
Very good.
Okay? All right.
Very good.
I got lots of treats from the last class on the floor. Okay. So, we're going to teach you, I'm going to teach you puppy sign language. Dogs learn faster and more efficiently from hand signals than they ever will the human language. And that is because dogs do not understand human language. Simple as that. Eventually they understand the sounds that come out of your mouth and what's expected of them because of the response they get when they do them, but they still don't know what the words mean. So you're going to learn one specific hand signal for every single cue that I teach. They have to be specific to that cue, otherwise they will get confused. One hand signal per cue, okay? So for example, if I have a brand new puppy, such as these, who have never been taught to sit before, I'm going to demonstrate how I can teach your dog to sit without ever using the words, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a treat as a lure. I'm going to put it in front of the dog's nose. I'm going to raise that treat right up above the head. They want that treat. They're going to follow it with their nose. When their head goes up, it forces their back knees to bend. When their knees bend, it forces their behinds to touch the floor. When their behind touches the floor, we use their positive marker and reward. That's called mark and reward. If you hear me saying mark and reward, it means use your positive marker, reward with a treat. Okay? So can we put her on the floor? Or him, I'm sorry. That's okay. See if we can get them to respond. Can everybody see? Say puppy. He just wants to play. Let me get his attention with the smell. There we go. Up here. I'm going to take the treat above the head. Yay! As soon as his butt touches the floor, I say his positive marker and I reward. Okay? This is how we teach them to sit. I'm never using the word loose leash. Yes. What's your word? Yay. Yay. Sorry. Okay? Make sure that you're getting that positive marker out of your mouth as soon as they respond to what you're asking for. Oh, now you're out of the chair. Nice and loose. Excellent. Is that the right word? What word did you choose?
Yes, that's it.
Even though he may know the word, I'm not going to use it. Loose leash. Loosen up.
Okay. Oh,
What's his word?
yes.
Yes. Good boy.
Very good.
Right?
Good boy.
Miss Sophie. Is she nervous? Yeah. Oh, so she's nervous with me, so I'm not going to push it. So because I'm luring that treat above the top side this way, the hand signal for sit becomes palm up. Sit. Now we're not going to add the word to it yet. We are going to teach the hand signal with the action. Once that action is understood, then we will add the word for it. Okay? So when you go home and practice this, I want you to take that treat just like I did in front of the nose and slowly up above the head until their butt touches the floor. The very second their butt touches the floor, yes, reward. Okay? Once your dog is consistently doing what you're asking, once they are consistently giving you the action that you're looking for, then you can add the word to it. Okay? So when they're consistently putting their butt on the floor every time you do this, if not at 10 times consistently, then you can add the word and say, sit. So since he already knows the word, sit. Yes. Okay?
Yes. Very good.
Once your dog understands the word, I want you to make sure that each and every time you ask your dog to sit, you use that hand signal along with the word at the same time. Sit. Okay? Any questions? Some puppies tend to... Oh my goodness.
I'm not putting nothing back. No. Love it. Just love it.
Yeah.
No. See that?
Yay, good job.
Oh, I done that.
Once your dog understands that command, each and every time you use the hand signal and the word sit at the same time. Okay? Very good. All right, so one thing that I started to mention was cue nagging. When you're asking your dog to do something over and over and over again, you are actually desensitizing your dog to the word, and they eventually stop listening to it. They will ignore you. So what we want is to make sure that we're not overusing the words. I will let you know when I hear it going on so that you're aware of it. And I will say, only say it once. Don't repeat it because you may not realize you're doing it. Okay? They will respond better if you do those pauses in between. When you're practicing at home, I want you to make sure that you are practicing 15 to 20 minutes a day, every single day. It's very difficult for young puppies to focus for a full hour or for 15 to 20 minutes by themselves, so we're going to break it down into small increments.
No.
1 minute here, 3 minutes there, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, little bits at a time. If we work our puppies too long, they will get frustrated, they will get discouraged, they will remember how that made them feel, and they will not want to come back and work with you the next time. So small increments. If your dog is challenged with something that you're working on and having trouble doing it, before they can get discouraged or frustrated, make sure that you're doing something else in the end that they can practice, that they are good at, sit command, and then reward them if you finish. Always finish on a positive note. Never finish on a note that leaves them wondering why I didn't get paid. Okay? I don't work for free. I don't expect my dog to work for free. If your dog doesn't get paid, they're not going to work. If you ask your dog to do something and you say your positive marker and you don't pay them, they are going to remember that and say, well, you didn't pay me the last time I did it. You asked me for it, so I'm not going to do it this time. Make sure you always finish your training on positive. Something that you can do that your dog can be rewarded for. Okay? If you say your positive marker, even by accident, you must pay it forward so that they still want to work with you. Okay? This is why we choose words that you normally don't use with your dog for this. Alright? What tends to work for a lot of my clients to get their training time in every day, when you finally have downtime and you're able to relax and you're sitting and watching TV, when a commercial comes on, get up and practice something with your dog for that 2 minutes. When the commercial's over, sit down and relax again. Another commercial, repeat, repeat, repeat. In one program, you can have 5, 6, 7 commercials. You already have gotten in your 10, 12, 14 minutes, 15 minutes worth of practice time. just for the commercial. Okay? Break it up, always finish on a positive with rewards. Okay? We do not reward poor behavior. Bad behavior would be considered jumping for their rewards, whining at you, biting at you, snatching, trying to snatch those treats out of your hand. Okay? This is anxiety. I'm going to put a barrier around him just to see if it helps him relax. Sometimes a little bit of seclusion can help them feel like they're not quite in a scary place. Okay. Bad behavior. So if your dog sits down when you ask them to, you say sit, and you go to reward your dog and they jump for it. That treat goes away until all four are back on the floor. Once they're back on the floor, now you can have it. So because your dogs do not understand the human language, we are no longer going to use the word no. They don't know what no means. They understand the emotions that you have when you say it because it generally means you're not happy with them. So they pick up on that, but they don't know what the word means. So instead of the word no, we are going to use the phrase I have more success with this phrase than anything else I've ever used. And the reason being is when your puppies are with their mother and their litter mates, they're all running around, they're playing, mom's getting, climbed on, they're wrestling on top of her, they're chewing on her ears and pulling on her tail and gnawing on her toes. When mom's finally had enough of it, she just wants it to stop. She corrects them and puts them in their place. Rawr, rawr. She grumbles at them. Relates to what they hear when they are corrected by their mothers when they were still puppies with mom. When you say most 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, you're going to get a response where your dog stops what they're doing because they realize you're not happy with what they just did. We will use a lot during the learning process for your dogs. It doesn't have to be a harsh tone. It doesn't have to be mean. It can simply be And most of the time, when you say and that treat goes away, most of the time, your dog is automatically going to respond because they want that reward. Okay? So please try and remember not to use the word no. You're going to have much better response with Okay? Alright, so let's talk a little bit about some of the behavior issues that you might be dealing with a puppy. I heard a couple of people saying about the nipping and biting. Yeah. Okay. So at this young age, your puppies are teething. Okay? Just like a toddler, everything goes in the mouth because when they chew on something, it makes their gums feel better. Same thing with your puppies. Puppies will teeth from the time they're 2 months old up until 9, 10, 12 months. Okay? Just depends on how quickly they lose their baby teeth and get their adult ones in. For the most part, if your puppy is teething, and I just realized I didn't pass out my book. I'm sorry. These are reference guides that you can use at home when you're practicing. Everything I teach is in the book, but keep in mind that I may be teaching things a little bit differently than what's in the book because I will do what works individually for your dog rather than a blanket formula for everything. I've also added some handouts in there that are going to give you a lot of information about the most challenging things that you're going through with your puppy, like potty training, puppy biting, jumping, crate training, okay? There's also some pretty good coupons in there that you can use. They do expire, I think, in September, so make sure you're going through them. There are some very useful coupons in those books, okay? So with the biting, if you know that your dog is biting because they just need to chew on something, you can give them something that they are allowed to chew and that's going to help their gums feel better. Probably not his leash.
He'll tear that apart in no time.
And that's partially part of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you know that your dog's teeth are bothering them, if they're just getting everything they can in their mouths and chewing, just like a toddler, you can give them something that's going to help them feel more comfortable. We do sell, actually, teething toys for teething puppies. What I like to use, though, is taking a Kong. I'm sure we all know what Kongs are. These Kongs that you see all the time.
No.
Where you can add treats to the Kong. What I like to do is take a Kong, put some peanut butter in it, or sweet potatoes, soft sweet potatoes that you put in the microwave for a couple of minutes, scoop out the insides when it's cooled off, stuff the Kong with it. You can also use pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling because it's got sugar in it, but 100% pure pumpkin from the baking aisle in the grocery store for like $2. You get a big can of it. Take some of that, stuff the Kong with it, put some of their treats, maybe even some of their kibble in there, put it in the freezer. When you bring it out, when you see your dog is gnawing on everything in sight, bring it out, give it to your dog, because it's cold, it's going to feel good on their teeth, just like baby teething rings. But they're going to have to work at getting the stuff on the inside out. It's also good when you need a time out. If your dog's just being too much and you need a rest from your dog, you can give them a Kong, let them work on getting something out from the inside. But if you freeze it, it feels good on the gums. Okay? If your dog is biting, to play. So if your dog gets mouthy during playtime, you need to make sure that you're not playing in a way that's going to make your dog act more aggressively towards that toy. For example, if you're playing a rough and tumble tug with your dog, your hand becomes an extension of that toy. It's fair game. Those teeth are going to make contact. So if you're going to do a tug game, make it a slower one. Figure 8. Let them chase it a little bit. Little things that are going to get them to focus more on the toy rather than skin. Now because we have, because they have not learned exactly what bite inhibition means with humans, bite inhibition is what mom teaches them as puppies. Litter mates teach them as puppies. When they had too much, one will yelp and play stops. The one that got hurt will walk away, and the other one will leave them alone. This is how they teach each other bite inhibitions. They teach each other when it's too much or too hard, and they stop it. So every single time teeth come into contact with skin, hands go up, playtime ends immediately, we're done. No more playing.
You need to listen to this.
You can go back and play again later, but as soon as teeth come into contact with skin, each and every time consistently, playtime's done. We're finished. Walk away. Okay? Your dogs want your attention. They want to play with you. They are very capable of putting 2 and 2 together and figuring out every time I do this, they go away. Maybe I need to stop doing this. Okay? It gets easier as they get older, as they mature, and as they understand exactly what we want from them. It's going to take time. You have to be consistent, you have to be persistent, and not let anybody get away with it at any time. Because if you taught your dog no bite, they're behaving, they do it one time and somebody allows it without correction, you can start all the way back to the beginning and start over. If they think it's okay with one person, they think it's okay with every person. So everyone in the household needs to be consistent. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay, good. If your dog is consistently biting, using their teeth, and you just can't get them to stop, every time the teeth come out, you can say, here, you can have this to chew on. Give them one of their toys. Redirect their attention. Throw a ball. Throw a toy. Now they're focused on that toy or that ball instead of you and your skin. So redirect their attention on something they're allowed to chew on. Even if they're sitting in your lap and he wants to play and he's getting all mouthy with you, you can say, here, you can have this toy, and let him chew on a toy. Okay? Anything that you can do to distract them from skin, do it. Alright? If you are playing with your dog and you tell them, we're done, and they continue to jump and bite at your legs and your pant legs and your heels, walk into another room, close the door, and shut the door. Separate yourself from your dog. Do it for about 30 seconds. Come back out. If the behavior continues, back in you go. Another 30 seconds. In and out, every 30 seconds until you can walk out. That behavior stops. Move on with your day. Don't give your dog recognition for not reacting again, because you'll get them all excited all over again and they'll start over. When you're able to walk out and that behavior has stopped, just move on with your day. Okay? Any questions? Okay. If you have a puppy who is just persistent and will not leave the backs of your feet and your legs and your pant legs and your shirt tails alone, no matter what you do, is that you? I hear it over here. If this is persistent and no matter what you do and you can't get it to stop, you may need to get into the habit of dragging a toy behind you. Something like a long rope toy or something, there are some things that are called flirt poles. It's kind of like the stick toys. The sticks with the cat toys at the end of them for cats, they make them for dogs. You can make your own. If you just take some kind of a pole, for example, this is an old curtain rod that I got from the dollar store that I took apart. Okay? You can take this and tape some kind of a rope or something on here, tie the end of it with a toy at the end, drag it behind you. Now the dog's going to focus on that toy and not you. This is a last resort if you just can't get your dog to behave and you need them to stop biting, and no matter what you've tried, hasn't worked. Okay? Okay. Jumping. If your dog is a jumper, you want to make sure that you are not reinforcing that jump. If you are giving your dog any hand contact, for example, if they jump and you push them down, in their minds, you must like that I'm jumping because you're petting me. They're going to keep doing it. If you reinforce that jump, they're going to continue doing it. The word for jumping is off. We're no longer going to use the words down or get down because they will be confused